Hello and welcome everyone. Michelle here with you from My Tarot Life. Today we are going to start the first in a series of mini reviews and deck flip throughs of tarot decks currently in my collection. I have chosen to start with an independently published tarot deck called Tarot of Trees by an artist named Dana O'Driscoll. This beautiful box that you are seeing here was also made for me by Dana as part of a artistic exchange back when she was giving out the first editions of this deck. So the deck that I own inside of here is a first edition deck. She is currently on her third edition. And I'm not too sure what changes there will have been between the artwork for that deck and the one that I own. So you can pop on over when you're done to her site if you're interested in seeing what they are. However, what I will say to you is that this is a fully customized box for me in that she allowed me to choose whichever one of her cards I wanted on the cover of the box. So in this case, I chose the Three of Wands from her deck. When you look inside, you will also realize that there's even more art inside of here. So everything to do with this deck, Dana made sure and put a lot of attention to detail in. So it wasn't just, however you just hand something out and hope for the best. Additionally, you will notice that there was more than enough space in there if you chose to put a crystal down or some other trinket that you'd like to keep with your tarot cards. Now, in placing the box in my hand, you can see that it's a relatively small deck. I would call this travel size simply because it is small enough that it's convenient to move with, but it's big enough that it's not awkward to use the deck. It's also noteworthy that there is no little white book that comes with this deck. However, I do know that Miss Driscoll has gone ahead and printed a full color book that is available for purchase separately on her website. So if that is something that you would be wanting, you can feel free to go across and purchase it from her there. In showing you the back of the cards, I believe you can see how very glossy these cards are. Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I think that everything to do with this deck fits really, really well, and that it just adds to the whole cohesive feel of the deck. I would also like you to note that for people who are like me and read tarot reversals, as you can see with this deck, that's absolutely not an issue, which is not the case with all decks. So I thought that worth mentioning. So we're going to go ahead and start the flip through. I would also like to just say that I am in no way affiliated with Miss Driscoll. I am just doing this video for other people who are like me and who like to see a deck in its entirety before you make a decision whether or not this is a deck that you would want to purchase. And for those of you who are interested in purchasing it, I will be putting the link at the bottom of the screen so that you can get to the website easily without having to go and search it up, etc. And that is the end of the major arcana, and now we're on to the suit of wands. And now we're moving on to the suit of cups. Next, we're moving on to the suit of swords. When I'm finished the flip through, I will be laying them out, spread out, so that you guys can see just how, sorry, it's really sticking. So you guys can see just how vibrant and beautiful this deck really is when, you go to do a spread with it. And now we're on to the suit of pentacles. And as promised, I'm about to lay the entire deck out for you guys. I think it's important to say to you so that you know I've had this deck since 2017, and in my opinion, it's still in pristine condition, so it has held up well. Though, in all honesty and fairness, I need to say that I do not use this deck to read for my clients just because I tend not to use my independently published decks for client readings, just in case someone is not quite as gentle as I would prefer them to be with a deck like that, just so that it does not become an issue for me and it's not something that I have to worry about. I tend to use decks that I can buy that are commercially readily available, for lack of a better way to explain it, if that makes sense to you. But I do use this deck very frequently for myself personally, and as I said, it really has stood up for the last almost 10 years. It's not quite 10 years as yet. I think at the end of this year I would have had it for about 10 years. Not sure if I mentioned this to you before as well, but the major arcana are a mix of the different colors from the different suits, whereas each suit is assigned a specific color. So you have your major arcana here at the top. Then you have your wands, which are all blues, your cups, which are all greens and yellows, your swords, which are all reds, and then your pentacles, which are all purples. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys who were curious about this deck and maybe considering purchasing. If you liked what you saw today, feel free to give us a thumbs up. I will list the artist's website, as I mentioned before, in the description box below. And I thank you for spending some time with me today and watching my flip through of the Tower of Trees.